For 250 years, the Japanese government tortured and killed anyone who dared practice it. It failed. No churches, no priests, no Bible. For 10 generations, a Christian community survived in the shadows in the country most hostile to the gospel in history. And the most incredible part? Japan already knew. Long before the first missionary arrived, the oldest sacred text of this nation contained a prophecy no one had yet understood. This is the most extraordinary story no one has ever told you, and by the end you will understand why. The year is AD 712. The scribes of the Japanese emperor commit to writing the nation's oldest oral traditions. The document is called the Kojiki, the record of ancient things. It is the oldest sacred text in Japan. Inside, it is a myth that shook the Japanese people for centuries. Amaterasu, the great sun goddess, overwhelmed by cosmic grief, withdraws into a cave. She seals the rock behind her, and the sun disappears from the face of the earth. The Kojiki describes what happens next in chilling words. The world falls into total darkness. The stars appear in broad daylight. The birds stop singing. The grain does not grow. Evil spirits infest the earth. The other gods, in despair, perform rituals before the cave to beg the sun to return. Only after a ceremony of purification and intercession does the rock move, and the light returns. Skeptics will say, it is only a myth, maybe. But remember the words of Paul in Romans. God has imprinted his reality on the heart of every people since the creation of the world, so that no one is without excuse. Japan already had in its sacred DNA the story of a sun going dark, of unnatural darkness, and of light returning. They did not know it yet, but the ground was being prepared. The year is 1549. A small ship reaches the southern coast of Japan. On board is a man who will change the history of that nation forever. Francis Xavier, the Spanish Jesuit missionary, one of the founders of the Society of Jesus. Xavier wrote astonished letters to his superiors in Europe. He said the Japanese were the most curious, most intelligent, and most truth-hungry people he had ever met. He wrote, "If I could, I would take them all with me." What happened in the next 50 years was one of the fastest evangelizing movements in history. No social media, no printing press, no radio. Only the gospel preached from village to village. Within 50 years, historians estimate that between 300,000 and 500,000 Japanese converted to Christianity. Feudal lords, the daimyo, nobles, samurai, and peasants. Japan was on the verge of becoming a Christian nation. And then terror came. February 5th, 1597. From Kyoto, a column of prisoners walks toward the coast. There are 26 men. Among them are Jesuit and Franciscan priests, laymen, craftsmen, and 6 boys. The youngest is named Luis Ibaraki. He is 12 years old. They are walking toward Nagasaki. They are walking toward their execution. The government of the shogun Toyotomi Hideyoshi has ordered them to be crucified. Not hanged, not beheaded. Crucified. The same death as Jesus, as a message of terror to all the Christians of Japan. What happened during that 400-mile march is documented by eyewitnesses. Those 26 men and boys did not cry. They did not beg. They walked singing the Psalms. When they arrived on the hill of Nagasaki and saw the crosses prepared for them, historical accounts tell us that Luis Ibaraki, the 12-year-old boy, asked, "Which cross is mine?" When they showed him, he embraced it. The 26 were crucified on February 5th, 1597. In 1862, Pope Pius IX canonized them as saints. Today, their monument in Nagasaki is visited every year by thousands of pilgrims. But the story does not end there. In fact, it is about to become even more incredible. The year is 1614. The new shogun, Tokugawa Ieyasu, signs the final decree. Christianity is banned from Japan. Death penalty for anyone who practices it. death penalty for anyone who hides a Christian. The hunt begins. Missionaries are expelled or killed. Churches are torn down. Christians must choose, recant, flee, or die. But some communities choose a fourth option. They disappear. The Kakure Kirishitan, the hidden Christians, blend into the rural landscape of Japan. They stop having churches. They stop having priests. They stop calling themselves Christians in public. But they do not stop believing. They invent extraordinary codes. They create statues of the Virgin Mary that resemble Buddhist images of the goddess Canon. From the outside, they look like pagan idols, but those who knew how to look could recognize the child Jesus in Mary's arms. They called them the Maria Canon. They passed down prayers in secret from generation to generation, deliberately altered so they sound like harmless folk songs. The Our Father, the Hail Mary, the Creed, turned into innocent-sounding rhymes. 250 years, 10 generations, no priest, no Bible, no church, and the faith survives. March 17, 1865. Nagasaki. The French missionary Bernard Petitjean has just opened the new Ora Cathedral, built in honor of the 26 martyrs. That afternoon, while praying inside the empty church, he hears footsteps. A group of Japanese peasants approaches. An elderly woman steps forward, looks the priest straight in the eyes, and says to him in Japanese, "We have the same heart as you." Petitjean stands frozen. Then the woman asks, "Where is the statue of Holy Mary?" At that moment, the priest understands. These people are Christians. They come from the village of Urakami, and their community has practiced the gospel in secret for 250 years. The news reached Rome like an earthquake. Pope Pius IX spoke of a miracle of the East. Historians still call it the most extraordinary event in modern missionary history. The hidden church of Japan had survived, without human structures, without institutional support. Only the grace of God, preserved in faithful hearts for 10 generations. And that brings us to the last part of this story, the part that breaks your heart and then rebuilds it. August 9th, 1945, 11:02 in the morning. Nagasaki was the most Christian city in Japan. The village of Urakami, the very place the Kakure Kirishitan discovered in 1865 had become a flourishing Catholic community. They had built Urakami Cathedral, the largest Catholic church in all of East Asia. On that August morning, many believers were in the cathedral for confession. It was the feast day of St. Lawrence. The atomic bomb exploded about 500 meters from the cathedral. The cathedral was destroyed. Nothing remained of those faithful. Among the survivors was a Catholic doctor named Takashi Nagai. A radiologist at Nagasaki University, converted to Catholicism, he had lost his wife in the explosion. Gravely wounded, with leukemia already in his body even before the bomb, he remained in Nagasaki to care for the survivors. He wrote a book that became a worldwide bestseller, The Bells of Nagasaki. He wrote, "Were not the Christians of Urakami chosen as lambs to be sacrificed to atone for the sins of all the nations during World War II?" Takashi Nagai died in 1951. His cause for beatification is open in the Vatican. Urakami Cathedral was rebuilt. The bells from the original church, miraculously preserved, still ring today. Let us stop for a moment and let us look at this story from above. Japan is the land of the rising sun, but in its oldest sacred text, there is the story of a sun that dies and then returns. A cosmic darkness, an intercession, a return to the light. For centuries, in that country, a faith survived in the shadows. 250 years without priests, without Bibles, without churches, only the seed of the Word of God guarded in the hearts of families. Then, the worst catastrophe of modern history fell upon the most Christian city in Japan. And the faith survived even that. How does the Bible explain all of this? In the Gospel of John, chapter 1, Jesus is called the true light, which gives light to every man coming into the world. every man, not only those born in the right culture or in the right country. And Jesus himself, on the last night before the crucifixion, told his disciples something extraordinary. "In the world you will have tribulation, but be of good cheer, I have overcome the world." The Kakure Kirishitan did not know that verse. Or maybe they did, whispered at night in the form of a secret rhyme. But they lived it. For 250 years, they lived it. Japan teaches us that authentic faith does not depend on circumstances. It does not depend on structures. It does not depend on the approval of the world. It depends on one thing only: how tightly you hold on to the one who said, "I am the resurrection and the life." The light of the sun can be hidden, an emperor can ban the gospel, an atomic bomb can destroy a cathedral, but the true light cannot be extinguished. 1400 years ago, a Japanese storyteller wrote of a sun that goes dark and of a darkness that seems final. He wrote of an intercession, of a stone rolling away, and of light returning. He did not know he was describing something real. He did not know that story had already found its fulfillment. On a cross, outside Jerusalem. And 3 days later, before an empty tomb, Japan was searching for the light. And in the end, the light found Japan. If this story has touched you, and I am sure it has, do not keep it to yourself. Share this video with someone you know, with someone who may be going through a dark moment, with someone who thinks faith is weakness. Show them what that faith did in Japan for 250 years. And before you go, I want us to do one thing together. The Kakure Kirishitan did not have an official prayer. They had simple words, passed from mouth to mouth, from heart to heart. Go now into the comments and write this prayer with me, the same one carried in the hearts of hidden Christians in every age. Even in the darkness, I hold on to you. May God bless you, your family, and anyone who at this moment is going through their darkest hour. The light is about to return. I am sure of it.